Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today's topic is a discussion about the powder microscopy of the coriander. So first of all, we will discuss the introduction and pharmacognostic feature of coriander. Then we will proceed to the powder microscopy. The scientific name of coriander is Coriandrum sativum. This is the sample which you have available in your lab. This is the powder of the coriander fruit. Now, introduction. The scientific name of the coriander fruit is Coriandrum sativum. In English, it is called coriander. Locally, in Urdu language, it is known as dhania. It belongs to the family Umbelliferae or Apiaceae, and its seeds and fruits are used. Now, the pharmacognostic features. The phytochemical components which are present in coriander fruit are numerous. According to the advanced researchers, it contains cardiac glycoside, terpenoids, steroids, saponins, tannins, and flavonoids. Apart from all these phytochemical constituents, it contains large amount of volatile compound, among which the important ones are linalool, pinene, limonene, camphor, geraniol, and carvone. So these all are the secondary metabolites which are present in coriander fruit and responsible for its many medicinal action. Now we are talking about what are the medicinal action and uses of coriander fruit. So mainly it is used in digestion related problems, including upset stomach, that is it act as a stomachic, loss of appetite, hernia, nausea, diarrhea, bowel spasms, and intestinal gas, because it is act as a carminative. Apart from digestion problem, it is also used in rheumatism, joint problems, measles, toothache, and as a antibacterial and antifungal compound. Now, before proceeding to the microscopic character, first of all, we will study the organoleptic features of the powder. As the drug has been ground, so we can only observe three of the organoleptic characters of it, that is its color, its odor, and its taste. All of these organoleptic features are specific for individual drug. So it is very important to carefully observe and note down the following character. Color is medium brown. Odor of coriander is characteristic. You can easily identify it, and it is aromatic, means it is pleasant odor. And taste is spicy. As you all know that coriander is also used as a food condiment in our daily routine in Asian cuisines. It contains the spicy odor and taste. Now coming toward the powder microscopy. First of all, we will discuss the material and reagents that will be used to make the slide of our sample. The first one is the sample, obviously petri dish containing the sample. Then we need a spatula or a needle. A brush is required. To make the slide, obviously we need a glass slide, and to cover it we need a cover slip. Dropper, with the help of which we will add the reagent into the slide. Then of course compound microscope, in which we will observe the microscopic characters of the coriander. Now iodine, glycerin and chloral hydrate. These are the three main reagents that are used to make three different slide of coriander. Okay, first slide will be made with iodine, then second slide will be made with glycerin, and the third one with chloral hydrate. Now these are the all material and reagents that were required. Now procedure, that how will you make the slide. So first step is to perform microscopic evaluation. Transfer a small amount of sample on a clean and dry glass slide with the help of a spatula. It is very important to take a really very small amount of the sample, because if you will take a larger amount of samples, what will happen, the slide will not be make very evenly, and clumps will be found on the slide. And if the clear smear is not formed, that what will be happen when you observe it under the microscope, you will it will be very difficult to identify the characteristic. So very important to take a small amount of the sample. This is the first step. If you not follow the right direction, then the slide will not be up to the mark, and obviously when slide is not good, then the observation will also be affected. Now secondly, what you do, second step is the addition of the reagent. So here I am using chloral hydrate first. So add a drop of the chloral hydrate. Again excess of chloral hydrate will not be added, but only a drop or 2 drops are more than enough to be added in the solution. Okay, add a drop of chloral hydrate solution over it with the help of a dropper. Make sure that the tip of the dropper does not touch the powder. Okay, it will make contamination with the other drugs. Then the third one is to make a smear with the help of needle and cover with cover slip in such a way that no air bubble will be trapped. So again, this step is also very important. You have to make a fine smear. You have to make a fine smear. Then after that, quickly pass the slide over the flame in order to fix it. Now observe under the microscope the cellular features and note down it. Okay. So first of all, when you will observe the slide under the microscope, you know that eyepiece has a magnification of 10x, which is permanent. But first of all, we will study the slide with using objective of 4x length. So total magnification will be 40. 4 multiplied by 10, 40x. We will observe firstly with the at magnification level of 40. Then the second observation will be made using the objective lens 10x. So 10 and 10 of eyepiece will be equal to 100 times. So you will observe this light as 100 times magnified. Then compare the observation with the given standard monograph. Now repeat the procedure using iodine and glycerin solutions. Now observation and comparison with the standard monograph. So this is the standard monograph which is taken from the Atlas of Microscopy. This defines the basically main features that you will going to identify, and the second part of the monograph consists of these pictorial view, diagrammatic representation of each of the characters given, and below it here its description has been given. That is number 1, which has been made in yellow in color. What is this? Its detail is given below. Now we will we will study in detail the features of the coriander sativum. So this is the monograph which I was telling you about. The medium brown powder with a characteristic aromatic odor and a spicy taste. The diagnostic features are epicarp. Okay, this is the fruit. So as you all know that I have told you in the organoleptic evaluation of fruit that fruits are composed of basically three main parts: the epicarp, the mesocarp, and the endocarp, which contain the seed. So all of these three features will be obviously seen in your in microscope. So the first one is epicarp, composed of a layer of colorless thin wall cells. Epicarp is the outermost layer, polygonal in surface view with a small cuticle. Most of the cell contain one or occasionally two small prisms of calcium oxalate. Stomata are infrequent. So epicarp contains cuticle, prisms of calcium oxalate. Okay, and stomata is also present, but it is infrequent. Then very occasional brown fragment of vita composed of thin wall cells, polygonal in surface view. So second thing is vita cells. Now the third one is the mesocarp, the middle layer. The very abundant scaleron chyma of the mesocarp. As I told you in my lecture, Introduction of the Powder Microscopy, in which I discussed different type of tissue system in the plant. So let's repeat it, that the ground tissues, scaleron chyma, are the oldest tissue which contain a number of phytochemical and deposition in it. So these scaleron chyma of the mesocarp are of two types. So here mesocarp contain the scaleron chymatous cell, and which is again of two types. The first one is that which is more abundant, consists of masses of very thick walled, okay, thick walled cyanous fusiform cells with a narrow lumen. Why? Because the cells are too old. Narrow lumen and a few rather indistinct pit. These cells occur in several layers with the orientations of the cells in adjacent layers approximately at right angles to one another. So mesocarp, scaleron chyma of the mesocarp are of two types. The first one are very thick walled cells which are arranged as a right angle to one another. Okay. Now coming toward the second type of mesocarp cell. The second type of scaleron chyma consists of two or three layers of large rectangular or polygonal cells with only slightly thickened walls. Slightly thickened. So here the walls are slightly thickened. And the first type walls were very thick walled, and the second type was slightly thick and numerous. Well marked pits. These scleroid occur adjacent to the endocarp and are nearly always found adherent to it. Okay. So these are the two types of the mesocarp cell. So what we have studied, let's repeat it. The first one is the epicarp containing the cuticle, calcium oxalate and stomata. The second one was the vita cells. The third one is the scaleron chyma of the mesocarp, which are of two types. The first one is thick walled cells and the second one is the thin walled cells. Now the fourth one is obviously D is the endocarp, the innermost layer. The endocarp composed of a layer of thin walled lignified cells. Elongated in surface view, the cells are arranged in groups but with only slight differences in orientation of the long axis of the group. This layer is usually found adherent to the rectangular scleroid of the mesocarp. Okay, the endocarp is the innermost layer and it is adjacent to the mesocarp. Now as you all know that food contains the seed, so it also contains the endosperm, testa and fibrovascular tissues. So this was all the about the main diagnostic features of the coriander fruit. Now it will be better understood with the help of this diagrammatic representation. This is the picture, okay, which I have included in the license. This one we have discussed this page in detail, and now we are going to discuss this page. Now we will discuss one by one. The first one is this structure. What is this? Let's see. You can see it, the thick walled cells. Okay, the cells are very thick walled. Now what is this? Number one is rectangular scleroids of the mesocarp with underlying endocarp in surface view. Okay, so these are the sclerenchyma or scleroid of the mesocarp, which we will study as the part C above. Okay, and what is 1A? 1A showing the thinner wall scleroid. Okay, so we have studied that sclerenchyma or scleroid of the mesocarp are of two types: the thick walled cells. The first one thick walled, and the second one is thin walled. So here you can see the difference between the two types of the mesocarp cell. Both of these belong to the mesocarp layer, but difference is here the cells are thick walled and here the cells are thin walled. Now number 2, this blue fragment. So what is this number 2? Fragment of vita. Okay, this is the fragment of vita, you can see it. Now this number 3. Now number 3 is epicarp in surface view, showing a stomata and a calcium oxalate prism in the cells. So what is this? This is the first one, first layer, epicarp layer. You can see the cells, difference between the mesocarp cell and the epicarp cell. The cells are thin walled, contain the calcium oxalate crystals. The dot like structure are actually the calcium oxalate crystals. And this is what? This is stomata, as we have studied in our diagnostic feature. The first one, the epicarp containing calcium oxalate crystals and infrequent stomata. So all this one we have seen, the vita we seen, and the two types of the sclerenchyma cells of the mesocarp we have seen. Now what's remaining? Number 4. What is this? These cells, let's see in detail. The yellow color, group of fusiform scleroid of the mesocarp, same in the sectional view. So these are the fusiform cells of the mesocarp in the surface view. Okay, after 3A is also there. The 3 was the epicarp, then 3A. What is this? 3A. 3A is the epicarp in the surface view. So these are the same thing. These cells are the same. Now number 5. This one. Number 5, testa in surface view. Okay, testa in surface view. Then number 6, rectangular scleroid of the mesocarp and the cells of the endocarp in sectional view. These are the mesocarp and these cells are the endocarp. Now number 7. Number 7, this layer is what? Pericarp of the seed in sectional view, showing the endocarp. This is the endocarp. This is the testa, the second layer. And the last one is the endosperm. Okay, endocarp layer, testa layer, and endosperms. And again you can see it Endosperms contain the crystals of calcium oxalate. You can see. So all of this has been left. So what is this for? A group of fusiform scaleroid of the mesocarp, same in the sectional view. Okay, so 4 is the mesocarp in surface view, and you can see it, the cells are rectangular to one another, each other. You can see at right angle. The cells are present in right angle. So these are the all features which are present in the coriander seed. We will make 3 slides with the help of chloral hydrate, glycerin and iodine, and here we will mention that either we were able to see it in all of the 3 slides, or in some slide it was absent. That, like in number 1, this feature, the mesocarp cells, the thick-walled mesocarp cells were seen in all of the 3 reagents, so plus sign is mentioned. While when the thin-walled mesocarp cell, so we have seen it with in the chloral hydrate and glycerin, but in iodine it was absent. So in the same way, all of these features will be observed under the microscope, and you will write plus sign if we were able to see it in a specific reagent. If we are unable to see it in the reagent, then a negative sign will be marked. So here, so it's all about the coriander microscopy. So if you will have any question or any query, you can ask me in the comment section, and also we will discuss it in our GMeet session, in Google Classroom session. So you will study it, and if you have any query, then you can let me ask anything at any time. That's all for today. Thank you.